When you got the call up, I mean, always get that kind of that manager comes in and says, "Hey, Steve, guess what?" Did you have one of those moments?
Kind of. The first time I got called up was in 2010, and I was actually driving home after the AA championship we won in Jacksonville. So I got a phone call on my way back home saying they needed an extra pitcher because they kind of used up everyone. So I had to make a quick U-turn and make it back. And then last year, the first time he pulled me in the office, I got called up for a day, sent back down, and then I got a call on my hotel phone at like 9 in the morning when we were in Sacramento, California, and we drove down to San Francisco and was there for the rest of the year.
When you're on the mound first time, and all of a sudden you look on the back over the scoreboard, you're kind of rubbing up the baseball, and there's your name on the scoreboard, and next thing you got to turn around, and there's a live batter in front of you. That little lump in your throat?
I'd say initially when I was running out to the field, more so than once I throw my first warm-up pitch. I remember I was in Milwaukee. I was fine after that. You know, if you're gonna be able to get hitters out, you got to find a way to put your anxiety, calm it down and calm the adrenaline down to be able to focus on what you're doing.
You get drafted, and your first stop is really here. Did you know anything about Jamestown, New York?
I did not actually, no. All I heard was the name Jammers, and it's kind of like, oh, it's pretty bizarre name. Yeah.
What are they going to say about him?
They're going to say, probably going to say he's pretty. I mean, I assume they'd say pretty nice guy, very quiet in the locker room. I tend to be quiet, but also very supportive. Anyone had anything they needed to talk about, I always told them, the truth. And I hope they say, I worked hard and I had a passion for the game, because every time I went out, to pitch or in practice or whatever, I did everything 100%. And I hope that they, people have noticed that and noticed how, genuine and how good I try to treat people. So.
What kind of pitcher would they say you were?
Well, in Jamestown, they'd probably say just a sinker ball, a hard sinker pitcher, because all I knew how to do was throw a two-seamer. I didn't really have much of an off speed, so I just kind of gripped it and grip it and rip it. So, hopefully, I'd assume that just power sinker guy and just unorthodox. There you go. It'd be a little bit unorthodox.
Unorthodox in the sense of your delivery?
Yes. Yeah, my delivery is has a little funk to it. So. Something the way I've always thrown, so I don't know any different.
What kind of funk? So visualize it for me here.
Well, in my head, I'm throwing straight over the top, but when you watch the video, I'm hunched over and I'm dropping down close to sidearm, low 3/4, from a very wide arm slot here, and very low to the, fairly low to the ground. Whereas a tall guy like me, you think would be over the top, throwing with some angle. So it brings a lot of deception to the hitters, and a lot of hitters come up to me and they're like, I don't know, I hate hitting off you. All I see is, butt and elbows coming at me, and I'm like, yeah, some of the lankiness I guess helps too.
So you were named the team's Rookie of the Year, together with Mike Stanton being named the Marlins MVP. Also played in Jamestown, by the Miami chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America. Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess they liked me. There was only a couple of us rookies there, I guess, and I had a decent year. Speaking
of letting it rip, your manager let it rip one time too. I saw a YouTube piece. You didn't talk specific about it, but Jack McKeon chews out you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's a guy on second, and we're pitching in Arlington. That's a hitter's park, so there's a lot of high run ball games, I guess you can say. So putting runners on base is not necessarily a good idea, especially earlier in the game. And so I decided to pitch a little bit around Hamilton and fell behind him and try to throw a 3-1 pitch outside, off the plate. It was off the plate, but gave up a 2-run home run to him. So he wanted me to stop throwing so many expletive word, sliders, and attack hitters with a fastball, and he made his point clear, and that's what I did.
Were you involved in an intentional walk pitch?
Yeah. Actually, I was looking at that video last night because we're using it. I'm speaking at the church when I go home, and we're going to use that as an example for something. And yeah, it was pretty ugly. It was a tied game, 1-1. Both offenses were kind of struggling, and gave up a double, I think. And yeah, gave up a double. I think a double. No. I don't know. There's a guy on third, actually. I forget how he got there, to be honest with you. Sorry. And so, I mean, there's, you know, 2 outs. No, 1 out. All right. And I'm going to intentionally walk a guy just so I can get a guy in first, you know, for a double play. The guy I was walking wasn't necessarily fast. He's a lefty, so, you know, righty-lefty matchup, and he swings everything as hard as he could. So if he gets into one, he could win the ball games. The 9th inning, but we were the home team in Seattle because of a concert at our place, I forget. Anyways, so I threw the first 2, you know, intentional walk pitches fine. And the third one, I don't know what happened. It was like at the last second, something got in my head and it just took off from me. And you know, I overthrew Buck by quite a bit, and he got back to the ball quick, threw it, and it one hop me. I tried to catch it on the short hop and tag out Ackley, who's scored from third. If I picked it clean, it would have been out, but I also missed the ball, so it was like a double whammy. And that was ended up being the game-winning run because we didn't score the next inning. Yeah.
Who was your hero growing up?
As in athletics, I'd say, this is going to sound really bizarre, but Reggie Miller, the basketball player, like everything. I loved basketball. And he was obviously, well, now he's second behind Ray Allen, who's my current favorite basketball player. But he was the best three-point shooter in the league and pretty much all time. And when I was growing up, I mean, all I would do was shoot, shoot, shoot. And I loved, I mean, three-point shooting was my favorite thing. And watching him play and watching him run the baseline, catch, shoot, like it was very exciting to me. As far as baseball, you know, Mo Vaughn was my favorite because he was just happened to be the best hitter on the Red Sox, you know. And then I saw him playing Pawtucket in a doubleheader. He went like 0 for 8, and I didn't like him anymore because he didn't seem like he was trying hard. So when Nomar got there, it ended up being Nomar. And then now for pitching, I mean, this is also weird. Mariano Rivera is someone I definitely look up to.
Not bad. At some point, did you face Pujols?
I did. I
mean, does you a little more perspiration when a guy of his nature's up there? Or not?
I guess a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, I won't ever I won't ever look at the hitters because I try to pitch everyone, you know, according to my strengths. And I mean, I know their weaknesses, but I mean, it's Pujols. He doesn't have that many weaknesses, you know. So I did face him once this year. He hit a single off me. I had him 0-2. I was really disappointed. I let that slide, but I was just mad I gave up a hit, really.
Well, I'm sure you're not alone. Was there a pitch or two that when you gave up to somebody and they hit a 450 feet or so, did you say, "Holy cow! How did that guy do that?"
Yeah, Hamilton. I mean, the ball was I threw it and he hit it. I was like, that was off the plate. Like I was trying to go off the plate with that, but he hit it like it was right down the middle, and it was opposite. He hit it opposite field, of course. So then I got chewed out, and when I was done pitching, I went inside and watched the video and make sure it was like good 2 balls off the plate, and he's just a freak and decided to, you know, crush it the other way. And I was just like,
what are you gonna do?
All right. Well, welcome, I guess, but you know.
Are there a couple of hitters that you? And I realize this is kind of 1.5 years worth of pitching, but where you guys say, "Oh man, I really hope I don't cycle my way into that guy."
Yeah, anyone that stands way off the plate drives me crazy. I'm like, how am I supposed to pitch this guy? You know, obviously I want to throw the ball away, but he's standing way off the plate. He likes to get his hands extended. Then I want to throw him in, but if I throw him in, it's going to be a ball because he's way off the plate. So I'm just like, it just boggles my mind. But there is one guy that I couldn't get out last year, Michael Martinez. I think he hit like, I don't know, $180. Maybe 200 range for the Phillies, and he just dominated my world. Everything I threw to him, he'd smash somewhere, and I was like, whatever, I can't get this guy out.
Well, Steve, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it ever so much.
All right.